you to do is, what I think would be really helpful, is to to let us know how can we change our bear harvest from being the waiting 6, 8, 9 years to get a bear tag to having. She said, "Can't you just switch it?"
You guys are afraid to hurt people's feelings.
Well, I guess, maybe that's one thing. She said that we're afraid to hurt people's feelings. We do want to work with the public. And if somebody has been waiting 9 years to get a tag, I guess what you could write down is, if you've been waiting, if you're on year 6, would you think it's okay to just switch? Change the whole thing, make everybody available to get a tag. Would you be heartbroken as that person that has 6 years on the waiting list or 5 years on the waiting list? So I think, obviously you guys got some great answers. And I mean, this is the kind of stuff. If you have some ideas, and if you think completely just switching the system and changing everything would be no heartburn, I think that's what we want to know.
People are saying, I think the hunters here are saying, you don't have to let everybody buy a license over the counter, but is there a reason, valid reason, why the number of kill permits are not increased?
Yep.
Bears have no real natural predators out there, and as you said, many of these sows are having 3, 4, and 5 cubs. Now this is going to very soon get out of hand unless our Department of Natural Resources does an about-face.
I agree with you.
Well, I thought you were one of the people that were making these decisions. You make decisions
on
deer and not bear?
Well, for deer, I make the decisions as much as I can for my local units. When it comes to all the other species, especially those that are managed on a larger area, bear isn't one. I mean, I definitely send in my comments and my concerns and my suggestions from not only from what I feel is important, but also from what I hear from hunters. But the committee that is in charge of determining the tags for the area, they have representatives for all the areas that go. In the end, they're the ones that look over everything and strongly scrutinize and decide what they're going to do. Deer are very much more, we manage them by a much smaller unit, and so I can give the input, but I do not have full say in what's going on now. One thing is the other thing that happened this year is the hunter success rate went down in our area unit D, which is all of our area here for bear. So the hunter success also went down. One thing that we do have in Wisconsin is we have a huge demand. So we have a lot of bears. I completely agree with you. But we have even more people that want to bear hunt. And to me, it seems like if we have a good population of bears, and we have a lot of people that want to hunt them, we should be trying to get tags into those hunters' hands to the best of our ability. When it comes down to it, I guess one thing is what do you guys feel about, the hunt will change. Rather than having, the 15 bear coming to your bait, you will have 15 baits next to your bait. Do you know what I mean? And so,
well, you drop it 1 year per year until you get to a goal that you want to accomplish. Exactly. Instead of having 9, go 8, then 7, then 6, and 5, wherever that happy medium gets to be. And the reason that they probably went with less, instead of making it longer and having 10 less tags for this area, was the study that they did with your blue dye. The Conservation Congress and other people around the area that was elected or selected to do that. I know a guy that put 4 baits out, and he used a little handful of bait and swung it up in a tree, and he said he had 1 bear hit it out of the 4 baits, and I don't know how long it went, a week or 2 study or whatever. in I believe May or June, you know, right prime time.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks, he had one bait hit.
Yeah, let me address
My
that.
baits, I set them out in one day, every bait's hit and multiple bears on. So
When you were
they
hunting
get-
your bait.
No, when I'm setting
you
it
did
out
the
and
study?
baiting them. When baiting them, after the first night, they're all hit, instantly.
When you're
Now,
hunting your
they
stuff.
send that information back, and I asked the guy, I was teasing him because I knew him, I said, don't you know how to even bait a bear? You know what, well, he says, that was about the average that everybody turned in.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they get that information recorded that says only 25% of the baits got hit, well, that tells them there ain't many bear out there.
No,
And
actually-
everybody in here is telling you
Yeah.
that there's millions of them.
Let me hit that, okay, about the study. You're referring to when you baited as a hunter, not with
Yeah.
the, or were you a volunteer also?
No.
Okay, so the difference, what he's saying is that when he put his bait out during the hunting season, it got smacked immediately the next day. It was crazy. When we did our baits, we did not have as high of baits, as high of number of baits hit as what we thought we were. And I agree, that did happen.
But why?
What happened? I'll tell you what I think happened. What I think happened, because the spring ended up being later, bears came out later than normal. And bears, when they first come out, how much detail do you want? They have to go through some physiological changes. One of which is that they have to excrete their fecal plug. Fun. Well, I've never done it, I guess. But basically, until that happens, for a couple of weeks, they're running around. You would expect that the bears would come out, hungry as can be, running all over, give me my food, give me my food. But that's generally not the case. They need 2-3 weeks or whatever to get their body moving again so they can start getting food back into
So
their
as the
system.
DNR, why weren't they smart enough to do this study when they were more active?
So what we did is we did the study when they are typically the most active, but because of the change in spring and it being so late, we missed the timing. Now, if we would have done this study with DNR staff only, we would have changed the timing. We would have delayed it probably by a couple of weeks. But because we were relying so heavily on volunteers, it was too big of an effort. It would have got too messed up to be able to ask everybody, we've told you to pick these 2 weeks to do it in. Can you now change it and do it these 2 weeks? It would have really messed it up because we have so many different people we're messing with.
What do they use for bait?
Hold on 1 second, okay? When it's just the DNR staff, we can change our schedule. And like say for this year, we're doing a lot of our surveys a lot earlier, but that's something that we can do when it's just in-house. So when it came down to it, I asked the bear researcher, it's Dave McFarland, he's out of Rhinelander, and I said, so what's going on? Is this going to be good information? I said, because I thought for sure, I thought we'd have hits like crazy.